Hello, loyal listeners. What's good? What's great? It's Max Nolan recording for Magic Stronghold. Today we are going to be going over a deck that is very near and dear to my heart. As of 4 hours ago, I was gonna post about a different standard deck today. Came across this one, and I just really wanted to go at it. A little bit of history. Decks that play enchantments and draw cards, I've been playing with for about 10 years. Argothian Enchantress and Enchantress's Presence. I played in Extended about 10 years ago, which was the equivalent of Modern today. I play them both in Legacy right now, and in Standard, I played Verdant Enchantress and Enchantress's Presence. So I don't know why, but I love the combination of playing enchantments and drawing lots of cards. Get rid of those because we can't use them. So that's the deck we have today. Main focus here is Eidolon of Blossoms, which lets us filter through our deck by playing lots of enchantments. Then the rest of the deck is very enchantment-based theme. My favorite aspect of the deck right now is Nyx Fleece Ram. The fact that we get to play this guy and the fact that he's great is very uplifting for me. When I first saw the card, obviously the art was beautiful. I just wanted to find a reason to use him, and now we have one. So we're playing for him, playing 4 Sylvan Caryatid, since we're rocking a 3-colored deck, very useful. Good on defense, good to ramp. We've got 2 Soul Tithes. Not the best removal in the format, but since it has synergy with the rest of our deck, we like to play it, and it's not bad. Then we're playing 4 Courser of Kruphix. This card is probably one of the best in Theros block. When I first thought, I was kind of iffy about it, and when I first played it, I was anything but. It's an incredible card, playable in Standard, playable in Modern. Now we're rocking the 4 Banishing Light, which is the best removal in enchantment form available right now. Then we're rocking 1 Spear of Heliod to pump all our guys, to draw us a card, and to provide a little bit of defense. Now we've got the 2 Bow of Nylea. Some lists have been playing only 1. There's a lot of red-white burn coming up in Standard right now, so I like having the bow. It gains us life, and its other abilities are far from irrelevant. And then for the high top of the curve, we've finally found a deck that can play Ajani. This is another card that I really loved when I saw it, and wasn't able to find a use for it, and this deck, I think, is a great place for it. We've got Coursers, we got Banishing Lights, we got Spear, we got Nyx, we got Soul Tithe. We have ways of actually protecting it, and we have ways of taking advantage of it, because this deck loves drawing cards, and it loves making our creatures bigger. So both +1s are great, and everyone loves gaining 100 life. I've gotten it off a few times now. It's the first time I've gotten to use Ajani's ultimate. So that's another big plus about the deck. Then some more defense. We've got Sphere of Safety. Late stage of the game against certain decks, some decks just can't overcome this card. It can be an instant win. I could be playing 4 and I might not hate it. I just don't want multiples in my opening hand because it costs 5, so I've been avoiding that. Then we got 1 Dictate of Heliod playing similar role as Spear. I haven't quite decided if Dictate's better or Spear's better. Maybe I should be playing 2 of one of them and 0 of the other. So far I'm liking 1 of each, but I'm going to keep trying it out, see which one performs better for me. Then another one of our big win conditions is Assemble the Legion. Since we are a slow, grindy deck, we're able to Assemble the Legion to a pretty high counter, and it can just take the game over for us. Now we've got Elspeth, Sun's Champion, just a general rock star in slower decks, and sometimes when the enchantment theme isn't working out, you just need an Elspeth to close the game away. Mana base, we're playing a couple red temples, and a Stomping Ground, and a Sacred Foundry to play our 2 main deck red cards. We've got a couple more on the sideboard. Of course, we got the 4 Temple of Plenty, and we got the 4 Temple Garden. Then we've got some basics, playing more forests than plains, because we've got double green, double green, double green. The only time we need double white is near the top of the curve, so we've got more time to draw into them. The mana base has been working really well. I've been having good consistency with it. Hasn't really been a problem. And for the sideboard, we are rocking against the slower decks. We've got an extra Elspeth, an extra Assemble the Legion. We've also got Perforos. I'm not so sold on this card. I wanted to try it out. Seems like it might be a little too cute. Possibly replace it with another Assemble the Legion or some more enchantment hate like Consign to Dust or Deicide. Because Hexproof Auras is getting a little more popular, so having a bit more of that wouldn't hurt. I'm going to try the Perforos out for a little bit longer, but I wouldn't be surprised if he gets the Axe. Then against the aggro decks, the burn decks, we've got Fiendslayer Paladin, which can also come in against Mono Black. Then we've got the one Archangel of Thune and the Scavenging Ooze. Basically, all I'm going to be doing is gaining life against those decks. Once we establish a high life total, we can usually win. Then for Planeswalkers, we got the one Pithing Needle. And the reason why the Mutavault is in here is we're bringing him in with Elspeth and Assemble the Legion, because we want to be able to hit our land drops to make sure we get to 5 right away and we get to 6 right away. And Mutavault also doubles as an attacker against those control decks. It can be pretty handy. We've got the one Mizium Mortars to deal with creatures that Pacifism can't, or rather, can't effectively. Stuff like Pack Rat, maybe other Eidolons, Courser of Kruphix. You can Pacifism it, but he's not an offensive card. He's a card advantage card. You want to be able to get rid of him. It's quite possible they maybe want 2 Mortars instead of 2 Pacifisms. I think that might actually be right, but I'm going with this for a little bit longer. Now I've got the Glare of Heresy, which kills other Elspeths, kills Detention Spheres, is good against the white weenie decks, and Consign to Dust is more enchantment hate for the Hexproof Auras. Also gets Detention Spheres, also gets Underworld Connections. Playing 1 and 1 of Glare of Heresy, or Deicide rather. Might be wrong, Deicide just might be better. But I have copied Consign to Dust once, and it was good for me. So I'm going to go 1 and 1 for now. This deck is surprisingly powerful. It is able to attack decks from multiple angles. We've got a lot of card advantage for the control decks that allow us to keep up with them. We've got some amazing defense against the aggressive decks. And we've got long game plan against mid-range and against control decks. We've got the 2 Assembles, we've got the 2 Elspeths. So far the deck seems to have some promising matchups. I'm not loving it against Mono Black right now, which might be a problem since it's a big part of the metagame. But against the control decks it's been doing well, against the fast aggro decks it's been doing well. Definitely winning majority of my games and having a ton of fun doing it. So if you've been looking for an excuse to play Ajani, if you've been looking for an excuse to play Eidolon, if you've been looking for an excuse to play Nyx Fleece Ram, this is the deck. We've found it. You can now build it. You can bash with it. It's a great time. So, yeah. So I'm going to provide you with a fairly budget list as well. Normally when I make a budget deck, I end up cutting a color because the mana base is awkward. This time we haven't. I've actually just replaced all the lands with guild gates, and it's been fine. The fact that we have so many lands that come into play tapped, it's a bit of a problem. But it's keeping the red is better than just not playing guild gates, because we really want to play Assemble the Legion. It's our number 1 finisher. See, I left the Elspeths in. They're not cheap. If you want to cut them, you can. I would replace them with just 2 more Assemble the Legions, since they play a very similar role. Then we've cut the Sylvan Caryatids. We replaced them with Mana Bloom, which is actually kind of cool in this deck, because it bounces itself, and you can get multiple triggers off the Eidolon, so maybe it might actually be better. It's definitely worth playing if you can't get the Sylvan Caryatids. Then, we kept the Nyx Fleece Rams, of course. Soul Tithe, we upped it a bit because the deck needs a bit more defense now that it's a little less consistent. placed the Corsairs with Boon Satyrs, so now we've got a bit more of an aggressive element. And it feels really good to bestow a Boon Satyr on a Nyx Fleece Ram and have a 4/7 sheep attacking. It's definitely a lot of fun. Kept the 4 Banishing Lights, of course. Kept the 1 Spear, the 1 Dictate. Kept the 2 Bows. The most expensive card in the deck right now, other than Elspeth, are these guys. But you kind of need them. They're the theme of the deck. They're not overpriced. So pick up a set of these. The rest of the deck is fairly inexpensive. On the sideboard, we're doing a similar plan against the control decks. Bringing in 2 Assembles. And we're bringing in an extra land so that we can hit that land drop. We're playing Mountain instead of Mutavault. Still got the Pithing Needle. To help against the burn decks, we've switched to Unflinching Courage and a War Leader's Helix, as opposed to the Archangel and the Fiendslayer Paladins. We've still got the 1 Consigned to Dust. Rocking 3 Pacifisms here for extra defense, since like I said, we're not as consistent. We're going to have a problem with aggressive strategies. We've got Keening Apparition and Deicide and Consigned to Dust for enchantment hate. And of course the Glare of Heresies for Detention Spheres, for Elspeths, for White Weenie decks. The budget version definitely is not as powerful. It's not Pro Tour Qualifier quality. It's definitely FNM quality. It's actually $327 right now on a Friday, so I might throw this together for FNM, see how it goes. Because I don't have quite all the cards for the non-budget version yet. And I really just want to draw some cards off enchantments. I really want to play Nyx Fleece Ram. I don't care so much about playing Ajani. Really want to play the Ram. So this might be the strategy to do that. Take one last look at the non-budget version. There we go. So here's the deck. Without this, away you go. Throw it together online, throw it together in person, take it to FNM, try it out. Then once you've decided it's powerful, which it definitely is, take it to Grand Prix trials. You can take it to a Grand Prix. I think it could stand its own there. And I think you'd be having more fun than anybody else. That's all I have to say about this deck today. Thanks for coming out, guys. I will see you next time.